Hey, y'all. It is a beautiful, sunny, about 60-degree morning, Wednesday morning here. No, I'm not going hunting, although I wish I was. Um, but it's cool enough to bring out the camo hoodie. Anyway, y'all. So, part two of the video that I was talking about the other day, or part two of the video that I uploaded the other day, I should say. Um, Time got away from me. I meant to do it later that day. Never got around to it. So about a month and a half ago now, August 29th. So backtrack. A few days before that, my buddy Scott, who, y'all know I've gone fishing with, and we've done a lot of cool stuff together over the last few years, he calls me, and he's like, hey, have you got any plans Friday, August 29th? And so it was like a week prior to that, like I said. And I said, next week, Friday? No, I don't think so. Got time off of work, morning. I got to work at night, whatever, but I got the morning off. He's like, that's perfect. I got something planned. I wanted to make sure you were able to make it. And he said, we'll only be gone half the day. We'll be back around like 1, 2 o'clock, just in time for you to get ready for work. And I said, well, what are we doing? He's like, I ain't going to tell you. He's like, I'm going to tell you two things. You got to be ready for me to come get you at 6:30 in the morning, obviously. Oh, 6:30, you, come on now. But, said you got to be ready at 6:30, and where we're going, they're going to be serving breakfast. And I said, you ain't going to tell me any more than that? He's like, no, you'll figure it out. Because this guy loves to surprise me. And cause he knows, y'all, I'm one of those. Most of y'all who know me personally know I don't do surprises. Like, if you tell me you have a surprise for me, or you tell me you have something planned, it is going to drive me nuts until I figure out what it is. And he gets a kick out of that, as do a lot of my friends, which, anyway, I digress. So, that Friday comes, my mom and I are talking, and all the night before, she's like, do you have any idea? I said, I've got a couple ideas. Not that he's going to tell me until we figure it out, or, until we get there or whatever. And I said, one of the ideas I have is that we're going to have breakfast at Legends Ranch. And for anybody who's new to my page, Legends Ranch is it's a high fence deer. They put on special hunts for youth, terminally ill, disabled, and Wounded Warrior, Purple Heart veterans. And so that's how I got my start. And yes, I know high fence, deer hunting, that's taboo to the hunting community. Look, some people don't have the means to go out, quote unquote, normal hunting. At least not right away. I didn't. That's how I started. By God's grace, I was able to meet a lot of different people that got me into, deer hunting on public land, private land, turkey hunting, bear hunting, obviously all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it takes, a private ranch to get it started. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm a little biased because that's how I got started. That being said, I said to my mom the night before, I said, I think we might be going to Legends Ranch. And she's like, well, that would make sense. So he comes to get me the next morning or whatever, and he's like, so you know where we're going? And I said, I have some ideas. He's like, what's your idea? And I said, well, the main idea that keeps sticking in the back of my head is that we're going to Legends Ranch. And he just kind of smirks, and he's like, well, maybe not. You never know. He wasn't going to tell me. And so I'm like, all right, well, so we drive a couple hours, and he's like, you know where we are now? And I look up from my phone. Y'all know I'm a bad passenger. I'm in my phone or I'm sleeping. So I happen to be in my phone. He's like, you know where we are now? And I look up and I see Legends Ranch, welcome sign. Y'all, I got so excited. I knew it. I didn't know it, but I had my suspicions. And I said, that's what I thought. Well, what he had planned for me was that me and him were going to speak. He was just going to talk a little bit, and then he was going to pass the microphone over to me, and he was going to let me, do some speaking. He set this up with the head honcho weeks prior, apparently. They've been sitting on this for a while. And, y'all, I've done public speaking quite a few times. It's special, it's cool, but to be able to be a public speaker at the place where I got started hunting, it was something special. And y'all, I looked at the date because he asked me that. He's like, didn't you get started here and this and that? And I said, yeah, it's been however many years. And then I looked down at my watch. I looked at the date because I'd forgotten, August 29. I looked at the date, August 29. Y'all, it made it even more special because that specific weekend was the 15th anniversary of when I got started. The end of August 2010, August 28th to be exact, if I remember correctly, is when I got my very first 8-point buck at Legends Ranch. And so now to come full circle 15 years later, to be able to see a few familiar faces that are still there, meet the new hunters, get to talk with them, see the excitement on their faces that I had on my face 15 years ago, and be able to speak a little bit about what God's done in my life since then. It was something special, y'all. It was so cool. So thank you to Scott and the guys at Legends for setting that up. But y'all, it was just amazing. And it is amazing to me still just to see how God can work in your life. And I'm going to end this video because I do got to get into work. I'm going to end this video saying 2 things. Y'all, never ever be afraid to let God take control. You'll be amazed at what he does. And also, side note, public speaking is my thing, y'all. I love it. I'd love to do more of it. So if anybody out there is looking for a speaker for an event, I'm not a professional by any means. I don't charge, nothing like that. But I am interested in getting back into it. And I've got a lot more free time on my hands lately than I thought I would, which is weird. Although it is deer season, so I am planning on going out here soon. But anyway, if anybody's looking for a public speaker, for a church group, a hunting banquet, whatever, message me, comment below, let me know what we can figure out. Until next time, y'all, remember, like I always say, if a guy in a wheelchair can do it, by God's grace, anyone can. We'll see you in the next video.